Here are 8 editing tips that will help you increase your watch time. Tip number 1 is to figure out your unique editing style. This is something that I always struggled with because when somebody would say that, I would be like,
okay, yeah, but what does that mean? What is my unique editing style?
To figure out your unique editing style, you have to try everything. You have to try it all. Everything that you see other people do in their videos, try it. It's like when you go to a buffet. Let's say you've never eaten before ever in your entire life and somebody brings you to a buffet. There's all these food options. You're not gonna know what your go-to plate is, right? You're not gonna know to go, oh, I want these fries, I want that, I want that. You're not gonna know that yet. So you're going to have to try it all. And then after trying all the food, then the next time you go to that buffet, you know what you like. You know what satisfies that craving. You know what your unique preferences are. That's the same thing with video editing. So this is what you're going to do. You are going to watch other people's YouTube videos. Ugh, I know, hard homework, right? And the best part, these videos don't have to be within your niche. It could be your favorite YouTuber. It could be any creator. But the next time you're watching these videos, I want you to have a piece of paper on one side, write the things that you like, and on the other side, write the things that you don't like. When I first started my YouTube channel, my big inspiration was Emma Chamberlain. This was like 5 years ago. I loved her like big zooms. I love her like
voice manipulation where she adjusted the audio pitch.
There's just so many raw things about her editing that I genuinely loved, and I tried to implement into my videos to see how I can make it my own. So if you like when GIFs pop up, if you like B-roll, write that down. If you don't like a specific type of music that somebody's playing in the background, write that down. Then as you go to edit your videos, you could start to implement and try those different things, or stay away from the things that you don't like. Tip number 2 is before you go to edit, also think about your audience's preferences. Think about your target audience and the videos they like to watch. Typically, like the general rule of thumb is the younger your audience, the more edits and fast-paced your video will be, but the older your audience is, the more simple it can be. Very low cut, very minimal editing. That's just the general rule of thumb, but just think about, again, put yourself in your audience's shoes. It's what we're doing with like every step I know, and ask yourself how much editing needs to go in this, because sometimes big edits and big editing and big transitions doesn't necessarily mean better retention, better video. Sometimes keeping it simple, clean cuts can be refreshing for a viewer. If you hear that tip and you're like,
I don't know what my audience would like,
then just stick to tip number 1. And as you post, as you create, you will likely get feedback from your audience. That happened to me. In the beginning, I loved putting music in the background of my videos, but over time I had more and more people complain about the background music because my videos are educational, and a lot of people voiced that they didn't feel like the music was matching the style of the video. And sometimes you could look at those as hate comments, or other times you could look at it as constructive criticism and just feedback from what your audience and what they like and they don't like. And those comments, they're not always like negative things like,
that background music, so annoying.
Like it's not always negative. Sometimes they comment and be like,
oh my gosh, when you added this GIF in, that was so funny.
So even the positive comments are live feedback of what they like and enjoy from you. Okay, now we're gonna get into some actual editing tips. So tip number 3 is to front load your video. Front loading your video simply means put a majority of the editing within the first 30 seconds, because those first 30 seconds, that hook, it's very much like a make it or break it for your video and getting the viewer to keep on watching. With my hook, I typically do one of 3 things. 1, get straight to the point of the video. 2, set the expectation of what the video will be. Or 3, provide a sneak peek for the climax of that video. With my YouTube videos mostly being educational, I get straight to the point. I say, this video, you're gonna learn how to increase your view time on YouTube. So the 3 things you're gonna be learning is da 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 da, let's get to it. So I'm getting to the point, I'm setting the expectation, they know exactly what they're going to get from me when they watch the rest of the video. If you had a vlog and something really exciting happened in the vlog or something intense happened in the vlog or you spilled your coffee everywhere, start with the dramatic thing. It's not gonna spoil anything. Think about video trailers or movie trailers. They always put the best parts in the movie trailer because it gets people to want to watch the movie. So if you have a vlog, you can think of those first 15, 30 seconds as that quick paced trailer where the most exciting things happen as the sneak peek, and then you jump straight into the vlog. Next, what I want you to do within those first 30 seconds is make sure you are including pop-up text or closed captions, because when somebody is scrolling on YouTube, if they're on their phone and they stop on a video, the video is going to automatically play most of the time without audio. So having text pop up, people can see what you're saying and what those first 30 seconds are about. Or if somebody is scrolling on their desktop and they hover their mouse over a video, that video will start auto playing as well. And again, they can get a sneak peek of what those first 30 seconds are with your closed captions or with pop-up text. That helps the viewer watch that video, or at least the beginning of that video, without audio. The next thing that you could do with front loading your video is you can match those first beginning visuals to the beginning of your thumbnails. You don't have to do this, but it is something that a lot of big YouTubers like Mr. Beast practices. If you go to Mr. Beast's videos and you hover your mouse over a thumbnail, typically that thumbnail that you saw is going to match something in those first few seconds of the video to confirm, yes, this thumbnail is what you're going to be watching. You will see that in this video. It's not just clickbait, it's really happening. So front loading your video summary, you're gonna put most of your editing effort into those first 30 seconds, making sure there's pop-up text so that if somebody was watching without audio, they could still follow along in those first few seconds. And you're always getting to the point. The video starts right away, you don't waste any time. So before jumping into our fourth editing tip, if you're an aspiring YouTuber or want to be a full-time content creator, this section of the video is for you. For those of you who don't already know, while I'm on maternity leave, every other week here on my channel, I'm releasing an exclusive look inside a few different courses that I offer over on my website to help you decide if that course would be a good fit for you or not. And then every other week is just regular scheduled programming, my usual YouTube videos. This is something I've decided to do in place of brand partnerships or ad placements, so you can consider this video sponsored by me. The video you're watching right now is actually a lesson from my course bundle, the BSP model, which is the only course bundle that exists right now for creators like yourself. What's the deal with a bundle of courses? I remember when I started my journey growing as a creator, I invested into so many different courses because as I grew, I needed help with different things. So like how to grow on Instagram, how to land brand deals. Okay, now that I've mastered Instagram, how do I grow on YouTube? How do I make money as a creator? All of these things, I just kept investing into different courses. And now being a creator coach, I thought, what if I just created every single course that a creator would need throughout their journey and put it in one place and in order of when they would need them? That's where BSP comes in. BSP stands for Build, Scale, and Profit, which are the three common phases that you go through during your creator journey. And there are courses for each of those phases. Here are the courses that you get access to when joining the BSP model. Altogether, there is over 150 lessons throughout the bundle and over 35 hours of educational content and resources for you. This is something that I'm honestly so freaking proud of creating, not just because it's something I wish existed for me when I started and would have saved me a lot of time and money, but specifically because I've seen proof that this bundle works. I get to work with amazing students and watch them completely transform their lives. So I 100% stand behind everything that BSP offers because I've seen it work for so many creators. So if you're somebody who wants to be a full-time content creator and you don't want to waste time trying to figure out how to do it on your own, or maybe you feel like you've already wasted a lot of time trying to figure out how to do it on your own and nothing's working, BSP is literally the steps for you to follow from A to Z so you could go from 0 to full-time. I'll be sure to leave everything that you need linked down below. All right, let's jump back into our video. Editing tip number 4 is cutting the fluff and trimming the fat, which I view as two different things. So typically when I go to edit a video, my first pass is just cutting the fluff. And that's all the mistakes, the uhs, the ums, the parts where I accidentally like mess up, so I have to start over. So I just cut the fluff. Then my next pass is where I kind of trim the fat. So I watch the video beginning to end, and anything that does not need to be there is gone. Sometimes what I do, I repeat myself a lot. I'll say the same thing multiple different ways to try to emphasize a point. But really, I'm just saying the same thing over and over, and the viewer's like,
We get it, get to the point, move on, you're done.
So I'm watching the storyline, making sure the parts that need to be there stay there, and the parts that don't, they're getting cut. I'm trimming them out. We're trying to make this video as short as it needs to be to get to the point. Editing tip number 5, after you cut the fluff, trim the fat, the next thing that I do is adding crops and zooms or anything that exaggerates my personality. Something that helps with maintaining a viewer's attention is not keeping the same shot the entire time. Like with this video, if I just sat here and talked to you this entire time with nothing else happening, you'd get pretty bored. But when I zoom in and then back out and then back in and then back out, that makes it a little bit more exciting. It keeps your attention for a little bit longer. I wouldn't recommend doing these too much. Again, over editing could be a little bad. So I typically only do this when I'm trying to emphasize a point. Did you catch that? I zoomed in on emphasize a point. Another thing that I said was I use edits to exaggerate my personality. I think my best example of this is for my YouTube videos. I'm somebody that I make voices when I'm telling a story. Like if I'm talking about my husband, I'll be like, oh, and then John, he was like, oh babe, so what do you think to do? Like I use voices. That's just what I do. To exaggerate that even more in editing, we will add pitch adjustments, or we'll adjust my voice. So
when I do my guy voice, it's like nice, low, and deep.
And then when I'm trying to, like, if I'm making fun of somebody, I'm like,
Oh my gosh, I'm so cool. Like,
we'll adjust it, be super high pitch, or maybe we'll change the visual a bit with that and make it black and white, or just add some sort of other visual change. So anytime you feel like your personality is really being shown, being highlighted, ask yourself, what sort of edits can I make to emphasize or exaggerate my already existing really cool personality? Tip number 6 for maintaining a viewer's attention is to add B-roll throughout your video where it makes sense. Now you can absolutely use stock video options. My favorite places are Storyblocks, Artlist.io, and Envato Elements. Those are great places to get stock footage, or you can create your own stock footage. Something that I like to do, this is just a fun hack that I've just built over time, is to create your own B-roll folder. I have my folder in Google Drive, so I'll open up my Google Drive and all of my favorite B-roll is already there, whether it's from Storyblocks or footage that I filmed myself. There's videos of me scrolling on my phone. There's videos of random people on Storyblocks on their laptop. Just any clips that I felt like I would use a lot, downloaded them from Storyblocks, created my own drive, and then I could just pull from them whenever editing. Tip number 7 is adding sound effects and music to your video. Now, all of these tips, I'm kind of saying them in order that I apply them when editing. So when I'm editing a video, I don't start with music. I usually do music as one of the last steps, or sound effects as one of the last steps. Now, we're actually going to talk about where to get copyright-free music in another lesson. So that's not what we're going to talk about or focus on right now. Instead, the tip that I want to give you for editing is when you do add sound effects and music, you want to make sure that the volume levels of those added sounds match the audio level of your voice. This is a common mistake I see a lot of beginner creators make, where they add music or they add like a swish sound effect, but they didn't adjust the audio of it, so it's overwhelming or it shocks the viewer. It makes you jump because it's like, oh my gosh, like I need to turn the volume down. Typically when you're editing your video and you press play on your voice, you will see the audio levels and where they're usually at. Then when you add music and you press play on the music, you'll see the volume of the music. So you'll just continue to lower the volume until the two audio levels match. Now, of course, for that example, that's if I'm talking and then I cut to like a B-roll of me making coffee and then that's the music side. So the talking level, when it transitions to the music, it's all equal. But if you're putting music behind you You don't want the music to match your voice level because obviously it's going to be hard to hear you. So you're actually going to put your music quieter than you think it needs to be. You're going to want to like barely hear it because if you're editing on your laptop, those audio levels are going to sound different when that video is uploaded and you're playing it on your phone. Then tip number 8, the last tip that I have for you, is to keep track of your video's timestamps when you're editing, while you're done editing, when you do that last pass, so that you can add them to your YouTube video description. I am somebody, I love adding timestamps to my videos. I feel like my audience appreciates it as well. So of course, always ask yourself, what would my audience appreciate? But even for me as a viewer, if a video doesn't have timestamps as I'm watching it and I want to fast forward to a certain part, I don't know where I'm fast forwarding to, so I'll just like stop watching a video, which I'm sure hurts that person's video, their retention rate. But I'm somebody like, I need those timestamps. I need to know where those different parts of the videos happen. So just keep track of those timestamps and then you can add it to your YouTube description. If you're like, how do I do timestamps? We're gonna go over that in another lesson when we talk about how to post your actual videos and get them scheduled. They're very easy, so just keep track of like the actual timestamp and then we'll talk about the practical how to apply it to your YouTube video. If you've made it this far, be sure to include the secret emoji in your comment below. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Follow your joy. Bye.